today, today's guest is a confidence coach from Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure you'll know this person once you see who it is and I introduce him because he's hitting a lot of spots, and I've got a lot of people who've spoken to me about him, and that's why I really wanted to invite him to be here today so I could talk with him. And I'm talking about Usama, and Usama's here, and he'll be actually talking to us about. Actually, we're going to talk about what he enjoys doing. And see, I already know he probably has a dance that actually rhymes with his name because I was talking to him just previously about that. So we're going to talk about what his recreational type of activities are, and then we'll get into the meat of what he does in the profession. Osama, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me on, man. The introduction was way better than CNN. I was like, man, I gotta leave the set. That's just mic drops already.
Come on, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing? Now, no, look, you're young. I know you like to dance. Tell me what you enjoy. What's your recreational type of activity that you enjoy doing?
Uh, I don't know about dancing because I'm a horrible dancer.
Hey, but you know what? Even if you're horrible, it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy it, though. You can still enjoy something. You can still enjoy that.
Mm.
What do
Dance of
you?
the mind, dance of the
Yeah.
mind and the heart. So what I truly enjoy most of the time is particularly actually diving, I would say, into deep conversation with people, getting to know people genuinely about their families and all of that kind of regard. Networking, speaking, actually spending lovely, precious time with family and whatnot. So, but a lot of times I would say it's like more revolves around learning, growing, having fun, spending some time with some closest of my friends. It's all revolves a lot learning. So for me, it's like I go with this principle: if a day goes by with me not learning anything, I feel there is no
Mhm.
blessing in that day. So it's like to learn, to thrive. It's like to always have that abundance mindset. Whatever I've learned, it needs to be shared with everyone because that's the value of it. So yeah.
Mm, absolutely. You know what? That's all right. Wonderful. Now, you know what? You got to tell me about Be Strong 99, right? Be Strong. Tell me about Be Strong. What made you start Be Strong? But was it something that occurred or it just popped into your mind one day? Or what made you just decide you were going to cast it? Tell me what happened.
Hmm. I gotta drop the mic for that question. I mean, that question is so bomb. It's like even CNN can't handle it.
Oh,
uh, the thing is, the one of the main various reasons is I've always believed in the concept of empowerment from a young age. I mean, ever since I was a kid, like ever since like I was 7, 8, ever since I was young, I've always believed in that concept of empowerment, encouragement from very young age. But it wasn't until like 3 years plus when I was having conversation with a couple of people, and they just told me, "How about you start a podcast or something?" I mean, start a podcast and just talking to the world about all of the information that you have with the world and all. I was like, "Yeah, that definitely will be it." And then I watched one of the webinars that said it's like if you're gonna start anything, a business or something, you gotta have a name. It should be something unique and it should be something that's repetitive from the rest. And I was like, how about if it's Be Strong? And I was like, okay, Be Strong, that's gonna be there. I'm just definitely gonna emphasize on Be Strong. And then 99 got inspired by Brooklyn 99 because I'm a huge fan of that show. Because
okay.
in that show they have empowerment, they have support, they have mentorship, they have leadership, they have uh they have teamwork, they have actually at the same time of support, encouragement, and all of that positivity that strives for me. Of course, there is humor, and there's all of that. Basically, there is times of seriousness, there's times of humor, there's time of fun. But what I truly genuinely learn is around that circle is all of that, because as even as it says, season 5 episode 22 says, life is unpredictable, not everything is in our control, but as long as we're with the right people, we can handle anything. So that actually I revolved around that, and then this is when I thought it's like, okay, this definitely I need to emphasize it more into world, so where basically people can feel heard, validated, empowered, instilled confidence from ways they've never thought, harness their greatness, harness their talents from ways they've never imagined, and then to go after their dreams like they've never ever done before. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? In your your profession, what is it that what was the greatest uncertainty you faced when starting your broadcast?
Well, one of the things, of course, is, at the beginning you think about the financial part. It's like, oh man, what if you start and it doesn't work out? But the thing that really primarily drove me was the passion. I just loved it. There was specifically last year when I was doing the episode every other day. I was just going into it, having guests on and everything. I was just so driven by it because I really fell in love with it. But then slowly but surely, I mean, some of the people that jumped in to consult me and everything, they told me, it's like, how about you market it? Now it's time how you market it. But I felt really, it was very difficult for me to once upon a time when to ask for something from people. I was like, oh, that's kind of greedy and stuff like that. But then after some time, I broke free from that bubble, and now these days it becomes often okay. I mean, if an instance where it's like, hey, if you need something, please do let me know. For instance, somebody, it's like they're willing to start a podcast, they're willing to start a live show, but they feel like there is way too many technicalities. I was like, okay, I can produce for you. We can set up the rate and everything, and then yeah, I can do the production, and then I'll do the editing for you, and where you don't have to worry about anything. So this is actually why I engrossed, and all thanks to the four legends that I call them all the time. I mean, legend brothers, I call them, Travis Lochner, Gabe Leal, Junaid Iqbal, and Nicholas Arnold. These four folks have heavily inspired me to jump into that route, towards that route, and I've never looked back ever since.
Hmm. And you're let me ask you this: the I would say we spoke previously demographics. Who do you normally do business with? Okay, if we were to talk about it's mostly female, male, and around what age group would you say you pretty much do business with?
So demographics doesn't necessarily matter where, but
Okay.
specifically, like I would say, for instance, somewhere in Europe, like North America, yeah. But it doesn't matter whichever place. But the most important age groups that I primarily target most of the time is generation Y and Z. So Y, that could be somewhere like 25 and above,
Mhm.
25 and above, all the way to 30, 40, all the way to 35, something like that. And Z, which is basically teenage, like after teenage periods, like all the way to 20 something. So you could say something like 18 and going all the way to like 30 plus. So
Hmm.
these are the people that I'm targeting. But more primarily, when it speaks to demographics, I would say it's like North America and Europe most of the time, around those areas.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask you. So you do. So you primarily you are global. So you are out there. Are you in the U.S. and other different areas? So where are you primarily though? You said, "Mom, primarily
Uh,
where? Where do you primarily do business?"
I am right now. I'm in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, but because all thanks to the remote world, make things a little bit easier. So the
Mhm.
Zoom and everything. So that's how actually I go about it. So yeah.
And in your of all of your the people that you've done business with, what would you say has been one of the most challenging thus far? Can you just give me an overview of what it is that you had to deal with, some of the challenges that you faced with them, and what the outcome was? Is there you could just think of one particular maybe instance in your career so far?
Yeah. I'll tell you one situation. This one was, I would say, this was the highlight, regardless of how many people I talked to. But this was a highlight. I speak to this teenager once. I mean, I think she was around 16, 17. And the more when I started speaking to her, she started literally attacking herself. She goes like, "I'm a kid." I'm like, "Why are you saying that? Why are you imposing that on upon to yourself?" And she goes like, "Because people say so." I told her, just because people are saying so, that doesn't mean that they're wearing your confidence. Your confidence is expensive, way up high the sky, and nobody can bring it down unless if you allow it to. Sky's the limit, and it's all within you. It's all up here. It's all up in the heart. It's all up in the mind. So don't let them confuse you. because they see a light in you, so they'll try to dim it away. And it was a matter of seconds she started crying. It was like an enlightened moment for her. And she goes like, no one has ever spoke to me like this. And I told her, I mean, it's all up in here. I told her, you got it. You got whatever it takes and everything. I told her, and then we practiced a drill very quick. I told, okay, supposedly I'm a bully. How are you gonna answer certain questions? I told her, for instance, you someone or someone were to say that you are not as pretty or you are not as smart. Like, well, I didn't create myself, and everyone is unique in their own way. If I'm not smart, I'm a hard worker. I'm one of the two. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So this is actually one of my joyous moments when I see it happening, when I see people actually sparkling up and towards that. This is actually what amplifies my day so much better. It's more than just making money to me. It's more about making an impact. And that moment to me was the sparkle because afterwards I saw the tears of joy. It seems, and I told her, now that is what you need to dress for the rest of your life. So to sum it up, it's self-image and confidence most of the time.
Mm.
Because when you talk of self-image, that's confidence. It's like a lot of time because people are driven from the outside in as opposed to inside out, because we don't take the time to know a person from inwardly as opposed to outwardly. So yeah.
But but you know what? And I always ask this, because I'm gonna tell you, the same thing happens with me. Your story, though, how do you relate? Because the when you look at all of your the business that you conduct, is there any particular area you can say that you primarily relate to when you're speaking to your clientele? Your story, something that's happened to you that helps you to relate when you're speaking to them.
Mm. I just highlighted a couple moments ago when I spoke about bullying because I've been a victim of that. I've underwent through bullying, discrimination, racism. So that's one actually in it how much I related. So when I see a person actually undergoing through it, I feel the pain. So if somebody were to do it the same way, I'm like, come on, grow up. I mean, there's so much to the world and being like that. It's like it doesn't bother me anymore. To me, it's not a big deal anymore. But when I see it happening to someone else, I literally feel it. So that's why I do whatever I can to get them out. Or for instance, people being making them feel ostracized or isolated because of what they stand for, what they believe in. Or for instance, I've had a conversation with someone that was 12 years old, but they're wise beyond their years. I mean, the way although he was talking as though he was like 30 something. I was like, man, so incredibly smart. And he was talking about science, and he goes like, man, this is what it is in physics, and it does this, that. And he's so mature. I was like, man, you're incredibly mature. He says, but I don't have as many friends. People, they consider me, I'm weird. I told him it's good to be weird. I told her I'm weird as well. We are all weird in our own way. But the thing is, a
Mhm.
lot of times those a certain group because they want to fit in. They want to fit in. And they're probably way more insecure than you'll ever know because that's why they say a dog barking cannot harm the sun. No matter how much, but it cannot harm the sun. No, it can't do anything. Or it can't harm the moon. So, so I just don't keep that momentum going, and I don't like you're gonna go very far in future. You're gonna go very far. I mean, if it
Yeah.
started right here, right now,
Yes.
you'll be going very far. So I told keep your head up high and don't let the haters pull you down.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
And so now you open the door. You talked about, because all of us have our weirdness, our weird moments. All of us do. What is your weirdness?
So this is actually one of my awkward thing. I mean, I don't have a concept of a stranger in my life. I don't have a concept of a stranger. I don't have that. That's not in my dictionary. It doesn't exist in my dictionary at all. I mean, I I talk to anyone and everyone. So whoever I see on the bus stop or something, I'll just talk about everything. So just today, I mean, today at the gym when I went early in the morning, I saw there was one particular individual that had a shirt. It's called "Don't touch my bars," i.e., the weights. So I remember while he was working out and I went to touch his bar. Like, and he told me, "Do you want it?" I told him, like, "I'm following what your shirt said. It's like, don't touch my bars." And he started laughing so hardly. And yeah,
I'm sorry, you know what? You sound as if you could actually be my son because when my daughter and I go to the grocery store, sometimes she'll say to me, she said, "Can we please go in and make it out in 10 to 15 minutes?" I said, well, "Why you ask me that?" She said, "Because every time we go, you find somebody that you can connect with or talk to or something, Mom." She said, "And then I have to come and get you out of the line." And I said, "No." And she said, "Yeah, you do." So what that particular day, we were in line and I kept my word. So I'm in line and this woman starts talking to me. I didn't start the conversation. She started talking to me. And so I said, "It wasn't me this time. I didn't do anything." And the lady said, "No, I actually started talking to your mom. I felt her to be so, she's got this warmth about her. I just felt as if I could approach her." And so I did. She said, "Yeah." She said, "But you know what? My mom is still guilty. No matter what you say, she's guilty." And so I'm told it's very same thing. Same thing. Now you are also in, you told me you do public speaking. What are some of the different, the area? What's the area that you speak on in public speaking?
so a lot of time it's leadership. I cover on those topics of leadership, as well as, for instance, business management. This is actually what I cover upon, teamwork. So these are the kinds of actually topics that a lot of times that I deeply engross myself in. Or sometimes I would say it's like general topics because over the years I discovered one thing. I have a hard time sticking to one thing
Oh,
because I was once invited to one of the workshops last year, and my topic was about public speaking and business management. They gave me those two topics to talk about. I ended up talking actually about those two topics and brought into another five, six topics. So I bridged all of those topics. So that's why, I mean, all of them, they said it's like, wow, there was so much value. It wasn't just public speaking and business, it was about life in general. So yeah.
and and basically, and I've been waiting for the rest of the conversation so I could end with this. Why? Okay, Uma, why you? When you meet people and they're talking with you, why do you feel that you would actually be a good fit? If someone was watching you right now, especially within the age range you took, within the age group, maybe around the end of a latter 26-year-old, some maybe 35-year-old, why you? Why would you be a good, maybe someone that would be worth their pursuing to maybe talk with you about working with them on confidence? Why would you be a good fit for them, you think?
Number one is it's like I would say number very first thing, it's like I practice what I preach. And number two, and it's like whatever they're going through, I understand it, I empathize, and not just for the sake of fuzzing out words, but I really genuinely do. So I look at it this way, it's like if we haven't connected solely, because I don't look at a person, it's like, okay, as soon as when we're done working, they're off their way. It's like, no, I love to keep a long-term
Mhm.
relationship, long-term friendship with people, whoever that everyone that walks into my life. I love to keep it long term so that actually continues to go forth and everything. So so this actually, well, a lot of times it's about trust, value, communication, and because sometimes someone, like I said, like they need someone to talk to. They need that peer support. They need who can I talk to? Who can I? So that's actually a lot of times. So I bridge multiple things into the world. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Naoma, just as a completion at this point, is there something you're doing in the business right now that's a little different? Something a little different you've been kind of something innovative you've been thinking about maybe doing that you would like to share with us today? Or if it's something, if it's not completed yet, I understand, but is there something that you're thinking about implementing in the business and you've been thinking it over and you can try to see how to fit it together? Is there anything you'd like to share with us today that you're bringing in that might be new, maybe within the next few months or so, but just
Mm.
what are you working on? What are you working on?
I'm already actually working on it, and that is engagement, and that is basically supposedly there are people, they have their LinkedIn account or they have their Twitter, but they don't have the time to engage. they simply don't have the time to engage or to share their thoughts, or for instance they do have a topic but they don't know how to come about it, to create content and all of that jazz, and to respond to DMs. So that's the kind of services that I do offer as well. That so this is actually where basically the whole values and everything gets to be driven towards. So I engage in everything meaningfully, intentionally, and wholeheartedly. So on their behalf. So already right now I'm already doing it for one of the individuals. He recognized this as a result of my engagement and everything over the years. So now this is actually one of the things that I do. So if you find yourself that you're struggling, you don't have time, or even if you engage, it's just like, yes, thank you for sharing, great post, blah blah blah, fire, and you don't really engage. How about we take that and we turn it into a complete real conversation? Because a post, it's like a door. When someone opens the gate for you, so you have to come out great to elevate, and that's how they will appreciate. So yeah.
Let's say that wonderful. See, that, you know what, that's good. And I'm gonna tell you, I just, if you could just hold on with me just for just a few more seconds. This is something I've always wanted to ask you. You actually are live. Okay. Most of us are, we pretty much we come on as videos, but you are live. How did you start? How did you decide you would want to proceed live? And how do you keep everything moving? Being live the way you are. I just want to ask you that.
Um, Community. It's like genuine community. So I treat life as how I treat someone that comes to my house. We say in Arabic, الضيوف نحطهم فوق رؤوسنا, which simply translates to the guests, we put them on top of our head. And not just guests, the one that show up on the show, but even in the comment section, the one that comment, the one. So I treat them as though that they're in my head. They're literally there. My girl. It's like, so what happens when people come to our house? We offer them a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. We have lunch with them. We have dinner. We offer them. We make them feel so welcome and so open. So this is how I go about it. And this actually has been one of the graciousness and blessings of God that has opened up several paths along the way. So I wouldn't say it's my success. It's like all for success by God's grace and mercy. So yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful. And Uma, thank you again so much for taking out the time, from your day, to be here with me. And I like to also get some information out from you so I could have it at the end of the video, because I'm sure there'll be people wanting to follow up with you. So anything you like to say just before we end here? Because I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say, for the ending?
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, for having me on board. I mean, it's indeed an honor and blessing. And for those of you guys that are watching, I mean, never give up, never back down, stress up, and big up. And always remember, when the sun rises, it will always set with you. You will have your tough moments, but those your tough moments create the best version of yourself. And if you ever need help in confidence building, harnessing your talents, and all of that regard, please reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'm available 24/7, not like a supermarket per se, but you can reach out, or you can also reach out via DM. All of the details are available on LinkedIn, and let's rock and roll. So yeah.
Wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for having me on board. Really appreciate
It's
it.
my pleasure. Thank you. Listen, and like I said, I'll be in touch with you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marilyn.